Good morning everyone. Welcome to your English class. Dear students, today we are going to do question and answers of lesson number 3. So what are you anyway? Answer these questions. Question 1. What are you anyway? A question. What did the Nortons want to know about Carol? Answer 1. A. The Nortons were curious about Carol's ethnic origin. They had noticed that her skin tone differed from theirs, so they would not stop asking Carol about her racial identity. They asked outrageous questions in an arrogant way. When none of these questions got her to tell them what her race was, Mr. Norton could not hold his patience anymore. He directly asked Carol, "What are you anyway?" He meant to find out what her racial identity was. B question. What do you think is problematic with the question? Does the word what make a person seem less than human? How? Answer B. The pronoun what is generally used for inanimate objects. When we address a human being, we definitely don't use what. The pronoun attributed to living object is who. When the Nortons ask Carol what she is, it makes her seem less of a human. Question C. Is there any word or phrase in para 32 that does the same thing? Answer C. They are neither one thing nor the other. This phrase dehumanizes Carol by making her merely a thing. Question number 2. Answer these questions about Carol and her understanding of race. A question. Does Carol understand the term race and mulatto? Answer 2A. Carol does not understand the term race, but from the tone of the Nortons, she can deduce that it is something bad. She has not heard of the word mulatto either. She is so taken aback when she is asked whether she is a mulatto or not. She fumbles and asks what the word means. Question B. When Carol first sees the Nortons, does she identify them as white-skinned? What is the word she uses to describe Mr. Norton? Answer B. When Carol first sees the Nortons, she does notice Mr. Norton's sunburnt face, but the skin color does not strike her as different from her own skin tone. The word Carol uses to describe Mr. Norton is big. She also notices that his face is sunburned. C question. Do you think Carol understands color or skin or race as a major differences between people? Answer C. Carol is too young and too innocent to be able to comprehend the differences that divide the world. Even though she thinks that Mr. Norton's face is a bit sunburnt, it does not bother her that he is of a different skin tone. In sharp contrast are the Nortons, whose sole concern is to find out Carol's ethnic identity. Question 3. Answer these questions about the Nortons. What is the first thing Mr. Norton notices about Carol? Answer 3A. The first thing that Mr. Norton notices about Carol was her black doll. He was baffled to see it and exclaimed that he had never seen anything like that in his entire life. Question B. In para 32, Mrs. Norton says that the world is not ready for mixed people, though she does not mind them. Do you think she is being honest about her feelings? How do we know? Answer B. Mrs. Norton is honest about her feelings for mixed people because she does not mind Carol as much as Mr. Norton does. In fact, she keeps reminding Mr. Norton that she is just a child. She makes little gestures, asks Mr. Norton to wake the girl up for the meal. She also urges Mr. Norton to make way for Carol when she gets up to go to the bathroom. Answer C. What do you think is the difference between Carol and the Nortons in the way they approach people? Do they treat everyone equally? Answer C. Carol is still too young to be conscious of differences of race, ethnicity that divide the world. Hence, her approach to most people is not non-judgmental. In stark contrast, the Nortons were from the very beginning disapproving of Carol. They kept prodding her about her ethnic identity and wondered if she is of mixed race. Question number 4. I never use just one color. A question. What is Carol talking about? Answer 4th A. Mr. Norton, curious about Carol's ethnic roots, asked her what color she would make her father's face if she were to draw him. Carol is puzzled by this question and obviously does not know what color to use. So she says that she would never use one color. Question B. Carol's mother is a white woman, but Carol says she would color her face using many different colors. Why do you think that is? Answer B. Carol wants to color her mother in different shades in spite of the fact that she is a white woman. This is because there is no one color to depict the whiteness of the skin. She falters and says that she could be yellow, but when the Nortons asks if her mother is Chinese, she disagrees. She then mentions that her mother's face could be red. Moreover, at such a young age, Carol is not aware how differences in skin tone denote one's ethnic identity. Question C. What does this tell us about the labels black and white that are used for people? Are they accurate? Do children think in terms of these labels? Answer C. The labels black and white are nothing but social constructs. Children like Carol are easily the least discriminate. This is obviously proved by the fact the protagonist Carol knew that people come in different skin tones, but she never passed discriminatory comments while dealing with white people. Children do not recognize these labels unless they are consciously made aware of their ethnic origins and racial standing in the society. Question number 5. What do you think Carol has learned about people and their attitude towards race? Do you think her innocent outlook on life will remain the same after the flight? Answer number 5. Young Carol, who was so far not affected by racial discrimination, was made conscious of her own racial identity by the Nortons. She understood that she was mulatto, a child of parents who were not of the same ethnic identity. This realization was bound to change her innocent and naive outlook on life. One flight to her grandparents changed her entire life. Question number 6. Do you think it was thoughtless of the Nortons to ask a child such questions? Would they have asked an adult the same questions? Answer number 6. It was thoughtless of the Nortons to ask Carol questions about her racial identity. They knew that she was a child traveling without her parents. They took advantage of her vulnerability and innocence, asking her insensitive questions. They probably would not have dared to ask an adult the same questions. Dear students, that's all for today. I hope you all will complete your question and answers in your fair notebooks. Thank you and have a good day.